Okay, and keeping with series. Now we painted the knife, talked about that. We're going to clamp it up. You can clamp it up wherever you want. The folding type knives, because of the shape of them, this is jumping ahead a little bit. They have other considerations that a flatter chef's knife with a fixed handle has. So your style of knife sharpening may lead you to think about your clamping method in a different way than maybe I do or that I share. I look to clamp knives centered on the length. We're going to talk about clamping methods here for a minute, because all of this leads to the clamping and finding the sweet spot, and why it's difficult for me to be objective, because I know all these things before I started and they work for me, so it's hard for me to undo that. So when you're clamping a knife like this, the clamping considerations would be different than clamping the knife like this. But I try to clamp knives uniformly. So there was a method that was shared on the forum where you imagine a line from here to here or here to here. I don't know that much matters. But imagine that straight line. And that straight line you try to put parallel to the clamp. Same with this knife. Put it parallel. In my imagination. And at the same time, my clamping method is I split that length. For this knife, it's fine. For a knife that has a folding knife that has a different shaped tip, you need to take advantage. That's what I was talking about in the earlier video about the physics of it matching the clamp, the rotation. Where you have a curved tip or a tanto, it becomes more beneficial to move that curve or tip closer to the center line of the vise. This kind of knife, that doesn't have that benefit. This portion of the knife has that benefit. So it's a balancing act. This knife, it doesn't matter. I have that point from here to here. I clamped it centered. And I'm ready to attack it. I marked it. I'm ready to go. I put my 200, 600 stone, that's what it came with. I'm going to pick an angle. 20 degrees and lock it up. I'm going to come over to the other side. "20 degrees and lock it up." Let me grab another stone on the other side. So we can do the same thing on both sides. And then I'm just going to take this stone and lightly scrub the knife. It so happens that this knife is so soft and the brand new 600 grit stone is so coarse because it's not broken in. And the 600 grit stone is right there between cutting and polishing, right at that edge. It's not fine enough that I would call it a polishing stone, and it's certainly less coarse than a starting stone. And then you would look at the knife to see where the ink has been removed, and that's where we're going to go start looking at the scope pictures and looking at this and the ramifications of what we did for this clamping position. Thanks.